Hello and welcome to Doordarshan News. I am Sidhant Sibal with my co-anchor Sonia, and let's go first to the top headlines today. BJP vows to provide stable government and growth if voted to power. Rajnath Singh accuses Congress party of corruption. Congress hits back, says BJP has a record of shielding the corrupt. Court rejects CBI's plea to drop former Maharashtra Chief Minister Ashok Chavan's name as accused in the Adarsh case. CBI had moved the special court following Maharashtra governor's refusal to sanction Chavan's prosecution. Sunanda Pushkar's death sudden and unnatural, say doctors. Certain injuries found on her body. Pushkar cremated in Delhi. Police probe various angles including suicide in the case. And an overwhelming 98.1% of voters approve Egypt's new constitution in a nationwide referendum. New charter to replace the one approved under toppled former President Mohamed Morsi. The main Western-backed Syrian opposition group agrees to attend Wednesday's peace conference aimed at ending the country's bloody civil war that claimed over 1 lakh lives since March 2011. And in cricket, India to play New Zealand in the first ODI of the 5-match series in Napier today. India has to win the series to retain the #1 ranking. The BJP has promised a stable government and growth of the country if voted to power. Addressing the National Council meet in Delhi yesterday, Party President Rajnath Singh slammed the Congress-led UPA government for its poor policies and alleged it of corruption. Reflecting a change in BJP's stance, Rajnath Singh said that his party had no objection to Article 370, which grants special status to Jammu and Kashmir if it helped the development of the state. Reacting to BJP President Rajnath Singh's allegations, Congress General Secretary Digvijay Singh said that Congress party has always adopted a strict stand against corruption while BJP always shielded the corrupt. After being formally assigned campaign leadership for the Lok Sabha polls, Rahul Gandhi yesterday held consultations with state leaders on the strategy ahead. He met all India Congress committee delegates from each state separately. The party is all set to begin the process of ticket distribution by holding meetings of the newly formed screening committees to meet its plan for early declaration of candidates. In a fresh blow to former Maharashtra Chief Minister Ashok Chavan, a special court yesterday dismissed CBI's application seeking to drop his name from the list of accused in the Adarsh housing scam, after Governor K. Shankar Narayanan had last month refused to sanction Chavan's prosecution on an application by CBI. The premier investigative agency moved the court on Wednesday. The CBI sought the court's permission to remove Chavan's name from the list of accused. He was charge-sheeted along with 12 others in the case. A recent detailed order is likely to come next week. The CBI had contended its hands were tied as the governor had refused to grant sanction. The agency said Chavan could not be prosecuted even under the Prevention of Corruption Act, for which the governor's sanction was not required because the provisions of the act needed to be backed by those under IPC. The agency said that since the governor had not sanctioned prosecution under the Indian Penal Code, the case against Chavan may become weak. The agency also said that there was no provision under the law to appeal against governor's refusal of sanction, but the agency can request him for the review of his decision if it comes up with additional evidence, which was not the case. The centre yesterday invited applications for appointment to the post of chairperson and members of the anti-graft watchdog Lokpal. A letter seeking nomination of eligible officers has been sent to the Registrar of Supreme Court and the High Court. Official sources in the government said that the government has invited applications for filing up the post of chairperson, and 8 posts of members of Lokpal. 4 posts are reserved for judicial members. The centre has also written to chief secretaries of the state governments. President Pranab Mukherjee had given his assent to Lokpal and Lokayukta bills on January 1st this year. The bill was passed by Rajya Sabha on 17 December 2013 and by the Lok Sabha the following day. The Lokpal and Lokayukta Act 2013 provides for establishment of a Lokpal for the Union and Lokayuktas for the states to inquire into allegations of corruption against certain public functionaries. It has under its preview even the Prime Minister, a bet with certain safeguards. Union Minister Shashi Tharoor's wife Sunanda Pushkar died a sudden and unnatural death. The doctors who conducted autopsy yesterday disclosed this and informed that Sunanda's body had certain injury marks. This deepens the mystery surrounding her death, which is being probed by the Delhi police from various angles including suicide. The 52-year-old Sunanda was found dead in a 5-star hotel in South Delhi Friday evening, a day after her Twitter spat with a Pakistani journalist, Meher Tarar, over an alleged affair with Tharoor. Sunanda was cremated in Delhi's Lodi Road crematorium yesterday. Spiritual leader of the Dawoodi Bohra community, Sayyidina Burhanuddin, was laid to rest yesterday. Lakhs of his followers joined the final journey of the spiritual leader. President Pranab Mukherjee, Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and leaders of various political parties condoled his death. Earlier, 18 people were killed and over 40 injured in a stampede as thousands of mourners converged to pay their last respects to the leader in Malabya Hills in the wee hours yesterday. Police said most of them died due to suffocation. In order to enhance bilateral trade, India and Pakistan yesterday agreed on a non-discriminatory market access program in place of the MFN regime, besides opening up Wagah-Atari border round the clock. The decision was announced after talks between Commerce and Industry Minister Anand Sharma and his counterpart Khurram Dasgir Khan. The ministerial level meet, which took place after a gap of 16 months, was also deliberated on the need to relax visa regime and facilitate the entry of banks in each other country. On to some international news. Syria's main political opposition group, the Syrian National Coalition, has agreed to attend next week's Geneva II peace talks to be held in Montreux, Switzerland. Syria's opposition chief Ahmed Jarba said that the talks would be a turning point in the war to topple President Bashar al-Assad and his regime. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry welcomed the decision taken at the talks in Istanbul, calling it courageous. UK Foreign Secretary William Hague also praised the SNC's difficult decision. Meanwhile, the Free Syrian Army Chief of Staff General Salim Idris called on yesterday for a peaceful resolution of the war in Syria and urged opposition leaders attending the peace conference to work for the removal of Assad from power. The aim of Geneva II is to start the process of setting up a transitional government to end the war in Syria. On to neighboring Egypt. In Egypt, an overwhelming 98.1% of voters approved the new constitution in a nationwide referendum, widely seen as a vote on a likely presidential bid by the Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. According to SEC Chief Nabil Salib, the turnout for the poll was 38.6% of the 20.5 million registered voters. in comparison to 32% during the 2012 referendum. The new charter would replace the one approved under Islamist President Mohamed Morsi, who was toppled by the military in July following mass protests demanding his ouster. Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood had called for anti-government protests and a boycott of the referendum, seeing it as a part of a coup against freely elected leader. Now some sports news. India won the toss and elected to field first in the first ODI match today at Napier in New Zealand. The hosts have an impressive attack consisting of 5 fast bowlers. India will be looking to defend their #1 ranking, and for that they need to beat New Zealand, who are currently 8th in the rank. Time for the recap of the headlines. BJP vows to provide stable government and growth if voted to power. Rajnath Singh accuses Congress party of corruption. Congress hits back, says BJP has a record of shielding the corrupt. Court rejects CBI's plea to drop former Maharashtra Chief Minister Ashok Chavan's name as accused in the Adarsh case. CBI had moved the special court following Maharashtra governor's refusal to sanction Chavan's prosecution. Sudhanta Pushkar's death sudden and unnatural, says doctors. Certain injuries found on her body. Pushkar cremated in Delhi. Police probe various angles including suicide in the case. An overwhelming 98.1% of voters approve Egypt's new constitution in a nationwide referendum. New charter to replace the one approved under toppled former President Mohamed Morsi. Syria's main opposition group agrees to attend Wednesday's peace conference aimed at ending the country's bloody civil war that claimed over 1 lakh lives since March 2011. And in cricket, India chose to field against New Zealand in the first ODI of the 5-match series in Napier today. India has to win the series to retain the #1 ranking. Well, that's all in this edition of the Bulletin, but news and updates continue on DD News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.